This is the first AI operating system. Warmwind has just created the first AI operating system and it seems absolutely amazing. Let's get started to see exactly what they offer. I think everybody should watch this video from start to finish because this is one of the most interesting AI applications that we have ever seen. So, they market this as the first cloud employee that can use your applications for you. So what makes them unique is that their AI tool and their AI operating system works exactly like a human, using mouse and keyboard. So what it can do is see and interact with actual applications, and you don't have to be a developer to use it. Current tools cannot use real-world applications and they require programming language. And Warmwind can literally run any kind of application, from browser applications, Linux, Windows, and whichever. And you can use their AI operating system to do a lot of things. For example, you can have social media managers. So Warmwind can actually scan the current trends, automate post creation, schedule posts, do all sorts of things to optimize performance. You also have customer support and we can watch the demo video. We will do that in just a little bit. You have competition monitoring, recruiting assistance, accounting and invoice management, and a lot of other things. This is incredible. And the big thing is that this is scalable. You set up one workspace, you can set one workspace and then 10 and thousands. So this is very scalable. You can go into their website right now and get into the waitlist to access this and use this. So let's go ahead and see a small demo from their founder. So this is what the operating system looks like. It's very simple, very minimalistic. As you can see on the downside, you have a chatbot and a chat for text. You also have an app store where you can install applications that you will need to use, or let's say your AI assistant will use. So you type on the chat exactly when you want the AI assistant to do. You give it instructions, and this could very much be very soon through just voice. So you talk to the AI assistant, that possibly happens in the near future, and the AI and the assistant will start to do the things you need it to do. Also, here we can see how scalable this is. Bear in mind that the video speed on this is actually sped up by 2 to 10 times. So you ask the assistant something specifically. It goes ahead and starts its workflow. So okay, it puts music, this is just pure marketing, but it goes into the email, it sees the email, it goes to reply and replies accordingly. Boom, done. That's simple. It goes to the next email, replies appropriately. So this is probably customer support. You can see it do other tasks on other kind of interfaces. You can see a variety of actions, for example, Google Meet, presentations, searching the internet, writing reports, Excel, Canvas, and of course, they're probably going to have more and more applications. And here you can see how scalable it is. You can spin up multiple of these virtual machines and AI agents very easily because this is completely on cloud. Nothing runs on your computer. Of course, this is associated with increased costs. So, before we go and see all of these agents one by one, because this is super interesting, I want to let you know that there is an AI course that I have created with over 24 hours of tutorials and videos that is going to teach you how to use AI in 2025 and beyond to become more productive than ever. You only have to pay once a very small fee and you get all of the updates every single week, every single month with new tutorials, new tools, and new ideas. Hopefully you will find this interesting. You can find the link for the course down below in the description. So let's get started. Let's get started because I think this is one of the most amazing things we have ever seen. Here you can see them running all of these instances in parallel. This is incredible. This is amazing. Like, this is something unforeseen. And essentially what they say here is that they scale to 50 instances with their own task simultaneously, and they can run about 10 spaces per GPU at full speed, which is interesting. So this is a small overhead and small cost. There's a big talk about whether this is an operating system or not. I think it's not exactly an operating system in terms of, general operating systems are called, but this is what we could call an AI operating system. So it's something a little bit different. It's like an interface on top of, current operating system and applications. So it's like a layer. You have the AI operating system, applications, operating system, and hardware. So it's like a new stack, a new technological stack. Also, I have created a very small presentation for you guys just to see some more details about this amazing new technology. So this is an AI that actually does things for you. And what they wanted to do is that you use it every day and always, and you want them and they want to be useful. They don't want to create hype. And I think they have completely done that. And about automation, they want to be independent of the user's machine. So this runs on cloud. Because it does that, it can work with all types of applications that some user can have. And it has to be very simple and fun. As you've seen, it's just a text box right now. So this is the architecture. You are the user and you interact with a brain, which should probably be a LLM. The LLM is able to use mouse and keyboard and interact with applications. So what happens here is that brain uses the VM with mouse and keyboard, and you see this happening real time through watching the screen. And there is also an AI app store, which is a new kind of app store that makes applications ready for this AI to be used. So that happens, they probably add applications here after their model is ready to be able to use them with a very good success rate. So this is also something new. So training stages, how did they train this? They did instruction tuning to click, to drag, to type, and talk. So these are the 4 things that they trained the model for. Instruction tuning, they just tuned an already available model. They said that they use mostly open source tools. The way they trained this was observe, orient, decide, act. So this is pure reinforcement learning. And the training they did is reasoning training. And of course, they had to embed application knowledge. So this is their comparison of vision versus no vision model. So what they say here is that with the vision model, they could achieve in many cases better performance. And this is how the operating system looks like, again, with another view. You can see here the text box. You can see how simple it is. And over here you can see the pre-made applications that you have selected on the taskbar. It's very simple, it's very clean. I really like it. I think this is very beautiful. It's like seeing Mac OS 5 to 10 years ago. And I've added some resources here in any case if anyone wants to look at them. And I will make this presentation available to you on Gumroad. You will find the link for Gumroad down below in the description. So I think now is the most interesting time because we are going to go ahead and watch these beautiful demo videos to get a little bit of an essence of what this model can do specifically. So customer support, let's see the demo video. So again, right, and this is that to Shopify. So okay, prediction of when it's going to come, and boom, it did it. This is nice. And this is also a little scary because this kind of customer support happens through virtual assistants that you usually hire on, freelancer sites. So this is a real world case. So here is a spreadsheet. I don't know what they do here. LinkedIn. Okay, so it's going to do client acquisition or data gathering. This is very interesting. I guess it's cheap. It starts data, invite. Okay, so like data, maybe in some cases successful, maybe in some cases very costly. But that was very interesting. Like, this is a recruiting assistant. Okay, let's see how it's called. The accounting and invoice management. This is pretty incredible, to be honest. Text. So this software seems so complicated. It looks so bad I ever seen. It's able to do its work. Like, should be so old. So old. This is one of the worst software I ever seen. So this was pretty incredible. Pretty incredible, and it's created by a very small amount of guys in Germany, which is interesting. They have raised 1.5 million in seed round, which is nice, and they talk about, for example, vision versus MCP. I think this is one of the things that Karpathy has been talking about, like MCPs are great, but in order to really have AI agents in day-to-day life and adopt them, they have to fit into the paradigm and the use cases of humans, at least for a start. MCPs are great, but they require developers to create these MCPs, to create like these API structured integrations, Whereas with vision, you don't have to do that. You just have a very smart model that knows how to use applications and it goes ahead and use them for you. The good thing about MCPs is that they have speed and structure. For developers, this is one of the safest and best options. Whereas with vision-based agents, you have flexibility and universality, meaning you can use any kind of application that already exists because you mimic humans. Hybrid agents, well, that's super powerful. If you know, for example, the API behind any button that you see on screen, but you also see the button, I think you are going to have a 100% accurate and a lot faster agent. So that would be amazing. So it would be text and vision. Maybe it will have like another layer, maybe, I don't know. But that would be super powerful. These kind of hybrid agents indeed seem like the future. So yeah, that was pretty amazing. And here you can see the differences. For example, integrating an API and MCP has some effort. It's very speed, but you cannot access legacy tools. You have to be a developer, no visual feedback. Adaptability to UI change, not that much. Reliability high, transparency low, and user type engineers. While vision-based models are for everyone, they're not very reliable, they're highly transparent, but they're improving. And visual feedback is included. You don't need to be a developer, you don't need to integrate anything, but it's kind of slower. So I think vision-based models could potentially replace actual human workers, and MCPs and APIs could actually automate and improve a lot of the processes that humans use. So I would stick with that. I think both MCPs and APIs are going to be useful, but also vision-based things are going to be useful. That's all for me today. Thank you very much for watching another video, and I will see you on the next one.